When you look around, do you see a lot of clutter? Clutter jiggles your brain, and sometimes it can get a little overwhelming. So, we're going to talk about some tips today on how to declutter your life, but make it a habit and make it fun so that it's something you do on a regular basis so that you don't have to live in clutter on this morning's Coffee with Colleen. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Colleen. I am Colleen Hammond. If this is your first time joining us, you can tell I got 4 hours of sleep last night. I'm a former on-camera meteorologist for the Weather Channel turned image consultant, coach, and mentor. Basically, I really, after being an image consultant for decades, it amazes me that women don't realize how amazing they will look and feel once they figure out what looks good on them and nail their style. So it's my mission to train and teach women to be their own image consultant and stylist so that every morning you can walk out the door knowing that you look and feel fascinating. So today we're going to talk about organizing and decluttering, which kind of goes along with the capsule wardrobe webinar I did last night, and the replay to that is in the show notes. And if you're not, matter of fact, it's in the show notes right now. That link might not work if you're listening to this a year from now. But we did a capsule wardrobe webinar last night and talked about decluttering our closets and narrowing down our wardrobe to 22 pieces that work. And it was overwhelming to some people. They were like, 22 pieces, I can't, I've got thousands, right? So that's what happens to us when we look around and we see the clutter and the things that are around us. It's like, where did all this stuff come from? And I'll tell you, it's that law of time expands to fill a job will expand the time that you give it, right? So if you say, I need this in an hour, you can get it done in an hour. But if you say, I have 3 hours to do this, it'll take you 3 hours to do it. So the job will expand to the time you allot to it. That's why in college I could get a semester-long term paper done in 3 weeks or 2 weeks or a week. So it's the same thing with our closets. When we look at it, it's just the bigger the closet you have, the more stuff you'll end up having in it. So that if you move to a different place that has a smaller closet, you're forced to do and narrow down, and you can do things with that. So that ties in with our first tip for organization is make rules about the new things that you bring into your life. So specifically, if you bring one thing into your life, get rid of one thing or get rid of two things. So if you bring a new pair of shoes home, then one pair of shoes has to go because you're obviously replacing a pair of shoes, or maybe two pairs of shoes need to go. And what that does is it helps you look around and say, hey, listen, that's broken. I don't need that. So if you have the broken thing and you bring home something new to replace it, get rid of the broken thing. Why is the broken thing still sitting on the counter? Why is the broken thing still in your garage? Get rid of it, right? But it also helps out with clothing because every article that you bring in, you need to replace. So you can finally get rid of old jeans, or maybe they're out of fashion, or maybe, maybe you're never going to be a size 8 again. I talked about this last night on the webinar that after children, my bone structure of my hips changed. So there's things I'm just not going to fit in anymore, no matter how much weight I lose. That bone structure has been stretched out after giving birth to an 11.5-pound child, right? So make rules about the new things that you bring into your life, that if you're bringing something in, something else has to be gifted or donated and shared with somebody maybe less fortunate that can't afford to have two things, and maybe they would like the gift of just that one thing that you're replacing. Second, set aside a time to declutter, just 15 minutes. And I also here we go about the capsule wardrobe again, but I also talked about this when you're working on your wardrobe. Some people love that KonMari method, right? Where you get everything out so you can see everything and know exactly what you have. Then you can sort it. Girlfriend, that does not work for me. I get everything out and I'm so overwhelmed I walk away. I can't handle that much. That's why clutter really bothers me. That's why closets are wonderful. You can close the door because I can't stand seeing that much stuff. So when I'm working with clients, I'm like, are you overwhelmed if you see a lot? If I put all your clothes on the bed, it's going to overwhelm you? Or is that going to be something that really energizes you and you're like, yes, now I can sort it. Because one of my best friend actually loves it. She like, oh yes, there it is. Now I can go through and sort everything. I can organize this for you. And so when she comes over and helps me organize, she wants everything out. I can't stand that, but she's there to help. So I get it all out, right? But it's the same type of thing. If that overwhelms you, if the clutter overwhelms you, don't think it's a job you have to get done in one day. Set a timer for 15 minutes and then work as hard and as fast as you can in that 15 minutes to clean up that one tiny spot. Because you'll have, what does the fly lady call it? I think she calls it a fire spot, something like that. I forget, it's been years. But there's one area that will be the first area that always gets cluttered in your life. So if you have a junk drawer, or maybe it's the island in your kitchen, or maybe there's a table next to the door where you throw your keys and your gloves and that type of thing. So there's going to be an area that you can focus on. And then tomorrow it might be dirty again. So then we'll talk about that in a minute. But set a timer and devote 15 minutes a day. That's it, to decluttering something, and put on your favorite music, dance around while you're doing it, be silly, and enjoy that time that you have to use to declutter. Number 3, put it back. Everything has a place. Put everything in its place. This goes along with something I talked about last week about only touch it once. If it's in your hand and you're done using it, don't put it down, put it away. Don't leave the paper out. Don't leave, because all those tiny little things add up. And truly, time yourself. How many seconds does it take to put something away? Do I sound like I'm talking to my children? I'm kind of talking to myself too, but it's the same thing. If it's in your hand, don't put it down and then have to pick it up again later. If you're done with it, put it away. So get in that habit of cleaning up after yourself and making sure that everything has a place, and put everything in its place. I can tell you exactly where the Advil is. In my kitchen, stand by the stove, right-hand side. If you're ever at my place, you'll know. The right-hand side of the stove are the upper cupboards. Open the right-hand cupboard. On the second shelf, front middle, is the Advil. It's a big bottle. So I know exactly where everything is. Everything has a place. It's in its place, because you don't want to be spending that brain energy thinking about where it is, trying to find it, because you only have enough glucose in your brain to make a certain number of decisions per day. Why waste them on silly things? So that's tip number 3. Just put it back. And then when you're done with it and you put it away, you can rest assured and be satisfied with the feeling that next time you need it, you know where it is. It hasn't been, wait a minute, where was I when I was using that the last time? Because maybe you go into the cupboard and to grab the bottle of Advil and it's not there, and you really have a headache and it's not there. And you're like, wait a minute, where was it the last time? This is a frustration for me when somebody will, like, let's stick on the Advil example. Take it out of the cupboard, pour out the Advils that they need, put the lid back on, and then set that bottle down on the cupboard. Just put it back. It's in your hand. The cupboard door is open. There's a big gaping hole on the shelf where it belongs. Just put it away. Number 4, keep your hands busy. Before you leave a room, glance around. Is there something that's in that room that doesn't belong in that room that you can take with you? As maybe you're going to powder your nose and you can drop it off in the drawer in the kitchen where it belongs, instead of in the living room where it currently is. So keep your hands full, keep your hands busy. Look around the room, and as you're leaving, grab an item every time you leave a room. And then you'll slowly migrate things back to where they belong. So this is in addition to setting your timer for 15 minutes and really focusing on decluttering an area. Number 5, the kitchen. Just tidy up after every meal. Kitchens are an ongoing battle. They really are. So if you commit, and this was kind of another fly lady thing, and I totally agreed when I first started doing this. First of all, like putting shoes on in the morning, all of the things she does. What are your favorite 5 fly lady things? Put those in the comments below. But because there may be things I forget, and I loved her and needed the reminders. But I had a thing that after a meal, when we were done, you would get up, push your chair in, while the plates are still in your hand, don't leave your plates and clean up after yourself. You're a human being. You're becoming a responsible adult. Take that plate to the sink, rinse it, and load it into the dishwasher. And it was chair, rinse, and load. Chair, rinse, and load. Because, again, I don't like clutter. So if I walk into a room and cupboard doors are open, that's like fingernails on a chalkboard to me. If chairs have not been pushed in, if they're like, everybody pushed their chair out, walked away, and left their chair out away from the table, push it in. Keep it organized. Get it out of the pathway, right? So I have to stop saying right. Somebody said that to me. I love listening to your shows, but you say right a lot. So I need to erase that from my vocabulary. So thank you, Cheryl, for emailing me about that. But anyway, so chair, rinse, and load. Same thing in the kitchen. The Fly Lady always said, make sure the kitchen is clean before you go to bed. There's nothing worse than waking up in the morning, going out in the kitchen, and you're already behind. Because there's dirty sinks, dirty, what are those called? Dishes. Dirty dishes in the sink. And you're already behind. Isn't that a bad way to start a day? So at night, I know you're tired, but it's going to feel a lot better in the morning when you wake up and walk out into a clean kitchen that you can get dirty today. So before you grab the remote and flop down at the end of the day, make sure that kitchen is cleaned up. Just put your mind on autopilot, pop in some earbuds, listen to Coffee with Colleen, finish cleaning the kitchen. The time it takes you to do it will be so much rewarded in the morning when you come out to a clean and sparkling kitchen and start the day not behind, but ahead. So overall, decluttering doesn't have to be overwhelming. If you focus on tiny little jobs that need to be done and use these tips, like setting your timer, make rules about stuff. Something comes into the house, something else has to leave. Set your timer for 15 minutes and declutter a certain area and just focus on that for 15 minutes a day. When you're done with something, while it's still in your hand, put it away, put it back, and then keep your hands busy throughout the day. As you leave a room, look around. What can come with you that you can put away, that one item, and work at one item at a time? And then your kitchen, making sure that you tidy up after every meal, and make sure when you go to bed at night that kitchen is cleaned. Nothing, that was like the happy sound. My children will say that when they come to the house. And at night, it'll be the happy sound of the dishwasher running, the smell of a clean kitchen, and we're all sitting cuddled on the sofa. They said that was very fond memories. It was like that cozy, cuddly sound and feeling at night to hear the dishwasher running and know. And to me, deep down inside, I know the dishwasher running means tomorrow morning is going to start as a good morning and I'll be ahead of the game. So it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Just keep those small little habits, keep your spaces under control, and you will be able to enjoy the rest of your day better. If you like tips like these, make sure that you like and follow me on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this as a podcast, you know what? We're new as a podcast and we sure could use a really nice review and a rating from you. So I hope that you will take 10 seconds, set your timer, and give us a quick review. Take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. So I hope that you will take 10 seconds, set your timer, and give us a quick review. Take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time.